looked like you had something ready to go, so I'll just play off of what you got.
Yeah, so I mean, last weekend we had a pretty big event on the road to WrestleMania. I know Royal Rumble was something we talked a lot about going into the event. Elimination Chamber, we had some more dominoes fall as we continue to work our way towards the grandest stage of them all. So I think we'll really just kind of go down the list. The show started with the women's Elimination Chamber match. Bianca Belair won that, so we know she is going to be competing at WrestleMania. At the time, we thought that was going to be against Rhea Ripley, but as we saw on the next night, Rhea ended up losing in a surprising result. She lost her women's world championship to Io Sky. And I kind of want to get your thoughts on this if you've maybe seen the news. I originally thought this was a crash course headed to a triple threat match, and this was just their way to get to it. It seemed pretty easy that Rhea Ripley was going to be invoking her rematch, and we are going to get the triple threat that we maybe expected. But I have seen some buzz that maybe Rhea is injured and could possibly be missing WrestleMania, and that was why they did the title change as they did. Have you seen that or have any thoughts on that match?
Well, if that's the case, I completely understand. I did hear that it was going to go into a triple threat as well. My initial thought was, before learning about the triple threat option, was that Ripley's just a bigger draw. And when we're talking about WrestleMania here, Io Sky is pretty talented, very talented, actually, from the matches that I've seen her in over the last few years. But, Rhea's just the bigger draw. But if she's injured and if Io was ready to go, then you can't fault this decision.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a huge blow to the women's division if Rhea Ripley's not there. She has kind of become the face of that belt, since winning it from Liv Morgan. A curiously short title reign for Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
They tend to be kind of using it to position the matches that they want, which I'm okay with. They're trying to tell the story, and we're all just kind of along for the ride. But the other big story coming out of that match was actually something that happened at the beginning of it. We got the return of Jade Cargill. A lot of people expected this in the Royal Rumble, and it didn't happen the way that we thought it would, but she seems to know who attacked her. We have yet to really get answers from Jade at this point. But she came in and for all intents and purposes, she laid the smackdown on Naomi and kind of cost her spot in the Elimination Chamber match. What was your reaction to this?
Oh, that's great. I love Jade Cargill. And maybe just to peel back the curtain, as we keep using that term around here, but I was the marketing assistant at Jacksonville University. Jade was a women's basketball player at the time. So I actually have had a few interactions with her in my life, and the only person in that match that I can say that about. I'm not calling. Don't come at me, guys. I'm not calling her my best friend or that we're even friends at all. I'm just saying that we've come across each other. But regardless of that, I do like the powerhouse that she is, and that I got to see in AEW as well. And it's great. But I think maybe something that you may not have seen yet because you've been busy over the last day or so. I think on SmackDown, Naomi admitted she did it, and Jade came out and whipped her ass again. So I don't know what she was hoping to achieve by that, but I guess maybe some more dominoes will fall on that, and we'll probably have a match involving those two.
Yeah, as always, I'm not in my normal setup for a reason. I'm on the road traveling this weekend, and it was a lot easier to make my way over to Chris's place and kind of record the podcast here. So that's why I'm here. So I actually know nothing of what happened on SmackDown last night. I probably should have paid a little bit more attention to that before we recorded. But thanks for bringing that up. Second match of the night, I believe, was the tag team match between Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus teaming up there in Toronto, defeating Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. I think we all got pretty much what we thought we were going to get out of that match. I don't really have too much to discuss from that. I'm not expecting a full-time return by Trish or anything like that. This was pretty much just a way to play to the Canadian crowd and let her celebrate being in the industry for 25 years, and she looked good doing it. I don't really expect any kind of WrestleMania implications from this match or anything like that. We knew already that Tiffany's opponent for WrestleMania was going to be Charlotte Flair, winner of the Women's Royal Rumble. Not really anything big coming out of this match, but I'm sure it was very rewarding for those fans and for Trish, especially herself.
I think it's just a little bit of pandering. Just get Trish in there for her hometown crowd to go crazy over. Also pair her with your champion to make her look good. Not that she needs any help in that category. But this was what it was. I guess it was a pretty good move just to make your champ look good when she didn't have anything else to do really, and so it was what it was.
Yeah, man, I think that crowd was got 100% guarantee of some Stratton faction, and they delivered on that. They got what they needed to. I think a lot of people complain when some of these retired wrestlers come back, the ones that are way out of their league and past their prime, they just really shouldn't do it anymore. I don't think you could say that about Trish. She looked pretty good. She was able to, hit some moves off the top rope. I mean, she was getting in there, mixing it up with Nia Jax, who's one of the larger members of the women's roster. And she looked like she was able to perform as well as ever. I mean, if anything, I think getting in here with some of these younger women superstars that have evolved the level of wrestling that you see from female competitors, I think has actually done Trish a lot of good, because maybe she's wrestling at a higher clip than even when she was at her prime, just because she's able to go to a higher level with some of these more advanced and skillful wrestlers than maybe a lot of the women that she was wrestling with back in her day.
I think what helps Trish is that, if I'm not mistaken, she runs like a yoga company now. She's in phenomenal shape, and I believe she's in her late 40s. And the only reason I mention that is because I think, if I'm not mistaken, she retired around 28. She hasn't had her body beat up and battered and broken bones and all that for a good part of like 20 years. So it's not surprising that someone that's doing yoga every day, keeping herself in phenomenal shape, can go out there for a one-off match and look great. Just to throw this one way back, we saw Ricky Steamboat come in around 60 years old and have a couple matches with Chris Jericho, and he looks fantastic. And he kept himself in shape at the time. I'm not sure what he's done in the 15 years since then. But I just think when your body's not taking a beating as much and you're keeping yourself in good shape, you can come in and look really good. And, Toronto got what they wanted out of that. But not overly exciting match, and we spent quite a bit of time on this match, more than I thought. I know Brad's gonna enjoy talking about the next one that came up. He's wearing a Kevin Owens shirt right now. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. I have a few thoughts about this one, but I know Brad's ready to jump right into this one.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I hate to steal your thunder if this was your thought too, but it's a violent, brutal match, unsanctioned match. For those of you that don't know that are still watching, it's just a hardcore match, no rules, whatever. It just fancy way to say that. I love those kind of matches. Give me the blood, give me the thumbtacks, give me anything else you can think of, glass light tubes. My biggest thought on this is this should have happened at WrestleMania. These two have been friends for a long time, not always tagging together, not always involved in stories together, but I think they're real life good friends too. So they've been in there together. You finally turned them against each other, and why the hell didn't you do this at WrestleMania? Why didn't we get this brutal hardcore match that's been building for so many years? Where's the payoff? Should have been at WrestleMania, and that's kind of just my thought on that. It's like I would have saved this one.
Well, some of it might be just time constraints to give these guys kind of the ability to have the kind of match that they wanted to have. I mean, kind of like you said, it is a brutal display. The referee is only there to count an eventual pinfall. That's something that may not have gotten the same time to shine at WrestleMania, where they have so many people that they're trying to get on the card. I think they only had 4 matches, and this being one of them, and it was unsanctioned at the actual pay-per-view itself. But I think what we all really saw, based off of the way that it ended, is that this match was not designed to have a big payoff in of itself. This match was purely to set up an actual match that we expect to happen at WrestleMania, where we saw Kevin Owens won. He defeated Sami Zayn, but he wasn't done after that. He continued to assault and beat down Sami Zayn, a longtime friend. I believe he was the best man at his wedding. I mean, this has just kind of been the story of them, a very volatile and explosive relationship, a lot of high highs and a lot of low lows. But Randy Orton came out to stop the attack on Sami Zayn, and it seems to be setting up Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens for WrestleMania. And no disrespect to Sami Zayn, but we talked about, just star power with Rhea Ripley and all. It's not a slight on Sami Zayn to say that Randy Orton is the bigger star. And I think, storyline aside, they can always tell a good story. Randy Orton just keeps getting better with age, in better shape, better on the mic than he probably ever has been. We constantly see him just upping his game the older he gets. And so to have him get that marquee match against Kevin Owens, KO Mania, I think it's a better choice for WrestleMania than seeing something like this against Sami Zayn. Not to say that Sami Zayn won't still be involved. I know some people have said, oh, he won't be medically cleared to compete, but maybe he could be the special guest referee for that match. There's been talk that maybe he could have something going on with Karrion Kross. I'm not real sure that that's something that you would put on WrestleMania, maybe the SmackDown the night before or something along those lines. But
yeah,
we'll see how that goes. Obviously, I'm always happy to see Kevin Owens get a big win. He's kind of a company guy in the sense that he does whatever they ask of him. He'll go through ridiculous storylines. He gets switched between face and heel a good bit, but he is uniquely entertaining. He does whatever he's asked to do and everything like that. And so he doesn't always get the success in the form of championships, but he very rarely disappoints. Anything that he does, any story that he's in tends to have its own character and everything that comes with that. And so I'm excited for him to continue to progress on that route and continue to be invested in and stuff like that. So we'll see how that continues to go on. But obviously the big story that I think anybody that's paying attention to this conversation is looking for is what happened within and in the moments after the men's elimination chamber match. So as predicted by me, John Cena won the men's elimination chamber match. We've seen multiple stories kind of sprout out from this. One of them that I wanted to touch on before we got too much into the John Cena aspect is we saw Seth Rollins get eliminated when it came down to Rollins, Punk, and Cena. And then he kind of had a little bit of a frustration setback, and he decided to take that out on CM Punk, and he stomped him, which somewhat directly led to his elimination by John Cena. And we've seen that boil over onto Raw as well. It seems like Punk and Rollins are on a collision course for WrestleMania again. What do you think about that? Are you looking forward to it, or how do you think that kind of progresses?
well, that's good. Sounds like a great match. And I heard Roman Reigns was somehow going to be involved in this match. That's the big rumor out there. I'm not sure how yet. But before we go too much further, I had something to ask you. You brought it to our attention in a video a while back, and I was uninformed. CM Punk has this favor from Paul Heyman. I don't watch weekly. I try to get my recaps here and there. What is this favor, and shouldn't it come to fruition near WrestleMania or something? Or have you heard anything about that before we go on?
Well, I think it's one of the big chips. There are big cards left to play. A lot of people wondered what that would be. What kind of power does Paul Heyman have to make something happen? Yeah. Obviously, with not winning the Royal Rumble and not winning the Elimination Chamber, kind of that forever a bridesmaid, never a bride, being held out of the championship matches. What is CM Punk's end game? And I think a lot of people will say that he wants to main event WrestleMania. Does a match against Seth Rollins alone get him that spot? Probably not. But like you kind of hinted at, does the inclusion of Roman Reigns turn the tide on that? And I think it's very possible. I don't know how the favor is going to be articulated on screen, but I definitely think that we could see the favor somehow be turned into Paul Heyman, that he wants Roman Reigns in that match as well to elevate the prospects of that match. And maybe we see it turn into a night one main event at WrestleMania. I think they do have to add some sort of implication, maybe a number one contendership or something like that at a future event. I'm not really sure how they're going to play into that, but I do think that we see Roman Reigns wanting to come after Seth because of the stomp that we see from the Royal Rumble that put Roman Reigns on the shelf as he has been for the last few weeks. I think that is kind of the way that they bring Roman into it, is obviously he's going to want to come after Seth, and maybe the favor is getting that turned into a triple threat match by some stretch.
Yeah, and then back to the original question, I didn't have too many thoughts on the chamber match itself. Just kind of went as expected. Entertaining enough, but yeah, we're all here for the aftermath. I don't know who wants to lead into that. If you'd like to lead into that, or me.
Kind of just to set the stage for it a little bit. So obviously John Cena wins. He's celebrating that. We now know that he will face Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. So cue Cody's music. He comes out. They get a handshake. It's a couple of good guys hugging it out, and looking forward to their WrestleMania match. And then the advertised segment of the show that they saved till the very end, which there's been some couple interesting things come out about the segment that I'm sure we'll get into. But then The Rock comes out and kind of interrupts this segment between Cody Rhodes and John Cena and poses the question to Cody Rhodes. He tells him that he wants his soul. He wants Cody to become the corporate champion. And we all kind of wondered, are we going to get a heel Cody as corporate champion going against the ultimate babyface in John Cena? And I'll kind of let you fill us in on what happened once those three men were in the ring, ignoring that there was a fourth individual in the ring because I'm not sure why he was there.
I'll bring that up as well. Well, so The Rock posed this question. He wants his soul, whatever the hell that means. He wants him to be his champion. Basically, the answer from Cody was to go fuck himself. Everyone enjoyed this. The crowd enjoyed it. Even the people with small kids, I don't think they were too offended because they got a huge pop. I think Pat McAfee was probably up on the announce table as he always is. John Cena looks pretty excited about this. He goes over, daps him up, gives him a hug. Then The Rock gives him a little cutthroat symbol. John Cena goes plain face, he low blows him in the testicles. It's a word we've used one time. Just
right in the mommy daddy button.
Yeah, right in the mommy daddy button, fat bastard. So then they beat up on Cody Rhodes a little bit. That's obviously a heel turn. If you guys aren't wrestling fans, I don't know why you're watching still if you're not.
I'd be shocked if anybody watching this hasn't at least seen the meme.
Yeah.
My favorite one so far is it's John Cena's face when he's looking at The Rock when he kind of goes a little bit negative, and it says, "How I hug my wife and tell her I'll be up to bed soon," while looking right at my PS5. Gold.
It's a little too close to home. That's an argument in this household a good bit. And then I end up staying up till 2 or 3 in the morning, and I get in trouble.
It happens.
So then what happens? They start beating down on him, and then what's his name? Travis Scott gets in on the action too. He came out with The Rock. He actually busted Cody's eardrum, bloodied his face up a little bit, hit him for real. I know you want to make it look good. This is all a bit of a work. This is a performance, but he just hit him for real. Just didn't pull his punch at all. Did anything. I think most of us in the WWE universe. Well, first off, I don't even know who Travis Scott is, so I just assumed he was a rapper or a TikTok star. I think yes.
Rapper.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know he's big and famous. He's just not on my radar. I don't even know why the hell he was there. Most of the WWE universe doesn't know why the hell he was there, and he's getting nothing but hate. He might be the biggest heel in the ring. This is the first time we saw John Cena turn heel since he went around with B Squared. He used to cheap shot people. Shout out to B Squared.
If anybody hasn't ever thought of Bull Buchanan, there's his shout out.
In the last 20 years, we wouldn't blame you. And he used to cheap shot people with his chain necklace. So it's been a long time coming. And as much as an AEW fan as I am, you got to admit that WWE is on fire right now. This was great. AEW, in comparison, is struggling a bit. I think they've had some questionable storylines. We got a pay-per-view coming up tomorrow as this is being recorded. I hope to watch it. They do have a lot of matches on that card with a chance to up their own product, and that's great. And I just want to get on a soapbox here, as a lot of people have done online, and just say, for those of you, this isn't a cue to just argue about WWE and AEW. As wrestling fans, you can enjoy both, and you can kind of stop being a little bitch and arguing that one's better than the other, because you're able to just enjoy both of them, and I think they make each other better by competing with each other a little bit. And some of the banter between them is cheap and petty, but it's also fun, and it gets both fan bases excited. So,
See, I disagree completely. I want you guys to argue. Just go at it. I want to read the comments. I want you to tell me why you pick one side over the other.
Go ahead.
Let me see. I want a slaughter fest in the comment section.
Yeah.
Just a bloodbath.
And then I'll turn heel on your bitch asses in the comments. So
stunners for everyone.
Just bring it, I suppose.
There you go.
I'll bring Travis Scott. We'll bust your eardrums.
We'll light some sage for whatever purpose that serves.
Yeah, we're going off the rails here. Anyway, that's all I really have.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big impact to this is I think we know John Cena's got 2025 and that's it left in his tank as far as serving the wrestling industry and in a big way. I do think that he will always be around in some capacity, similar to the way that Stone Cold and The Rock and The Undertaker, they make their moments and their presence felt when necessary and arguably when not necessary. But John Cena said this is kind of his farewell tour. And I think in a way he's doing things that maybe he's always wanted to do but wouldn't be able to. He's telling stories that he was not able to tell, in previous years of his career. And so I think him finally turning heel is not only very memeable, but it's also going to make headlines in a way that few wrestling stories can. So seeing John Cena and The Rock together, something that a lot of people probably never thought they would see as far as an aligning goes between them. But pretty interesting to see, and obviously covered by a lot of mainstream media.
Yeah, and it's a huge hit, and it's getting a lot of stuff out there. I'm sure even Brian has seen some of the clips of maybe John Cena turning heel or even making a face